Hey, this time Horns Up coming to you from the east side, the old east side of Bangalore. What's up, Peter? How you feeling, man?
Dude, I'm in love with this weather. And like I said on the last episode, let's just make Horns Up Inc. and move like to Bangalore.
That's the dream. That's the dream. Yeah, man, we've met a lot of people. We fucking saw Emulation last night. How good was that gig, man?
I'm speechless, dude. Because just like a band like that with the machine-like precision, and they were just on.
Yeah, they were like, just on.
For someone who loves like grindcore and death metal and stuff like that, you know, watching them is just such a joy because after 30 years later, they still enjoy doing it so much.
And you can see it on their faces.
Yeah. They enjoy. I mean, like, this really, if I am going to make a statement, is what separates the boys from the men. And you can tell these guys are like men. I mean, anyone who has anything else to say, please keep quiet. Man. Because you didn't watch Emulation last night at Fandom by Gillies Redefined, which is by far, and you know, one of the things about attending the gig was just so that we attend a gig at Fandom, because I've been hearing about it for the last year since they opened, and everyone who hyped it up and saying this is the best gig venue in India, best gig venue I've been to in India, hands down.
Okay, that's
so, you know,
ballsy statement to make.
No, and everyone who said that, man, and then imagine watching Emulation in a place like that.
Oh, Emulation in a fucking crowd, in a nice, like, what do you call that? Club kind of a scene, an indoor venue. That was always going to be epic, but I didn't expect them to be this epic. Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on from one 30-year-old American band to another 30-year-old American band, but one which has far wider reach and impact than Emulation.
I must add, this is the band that has been mentioned the most times on all our episodes.
No, I think that would go to Iron Maiden. I'll contest with you on that.
But like everyone we've spoken to has mentioned this band, so
at least once.
Yeah, at least once.
Yeah.
So it's fitting that we finally get to do this episode.
Yeah, man. We've been meaning to do this for a long time. Of course, we're talking about Metallica. Yes, the mighty Metallica. There's so much already written about them. I don't know what we can add. But hey, this is an exercise that we want to do about it. We're doing a versus. Yeah. Okay, the versus is the format that we've tried out before. We tried it out, oddly enough, with somebody who was based in Bangalore.
As well,
right? So our first versus pitted Iron Maiden's Power Slave against Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. And boy, like that was a good exercise. But today we are pitting Metallica's Ride the Lightning against Master of Puppets.
Ooh.
And as always, Peter and I can't be the only ones doing this because we'll have a hung jury. So who's our third?
I'd like to welcome to the podcast Nishta. Welcome, Nishta.
Hey guys, how are you going?
Yeah, and you know, one of the main reasons I wanted to get Nishta on the podcast is like she's such a huge Maiden. She's such a huge Metallica fan, and this is the point I'm going to add. So, coincidentally, both Nishta and Animesh had a very similar Metallica experience. Animesh, you want to just quickly...
Fuck. I'm guessing this is the part where I bring in that even I was at Gurgaon.
Oh my God. That heart in the background is my husband.
Yeah,
I mean...
And guess what? I'll tell you my fucking extended story, and it pisses me off till no end because 2 weeks before Metallica was set to play, I contracted. Do you contract typhoid? Yeah, you contract typhoid.
You do.
So from Bombay, I came to Bangalore because my dad was in Bangalore at that time, so that I could recuperate in Bangalore, right? So I was in Bangalore till Friday night. Saturday morning, I take a flight from Bangalore to go to Gurgaon. In my flight, there are fucking crowds of F1 fans because, hey, F1 is also happening this weekend. And I remember being excited as shit. Everything seems to be going in plan. I've asked, remember this Delhi-based band called Frequency?
Yeah.
I've asked Frequency's, I forgot his name now. He's going to kill me for it.
Raj.
Frequency's Akshay, the DJ, right? I've asked him to pick up my tickets and keep them ready, and I'm like, okay, dude, I'm going to meet you right in front of the metro station. All of that works out. We reach the metro station. I pick up my tickets. We enter the venue. I meet Black, who are fucking excited as shit. They're telling me, hey, you want to come later backstage? And I'm like, fuck yes, I want to come backstage. And then we wait, and we wait,
Oh
and
my
we
God.
wait, and we wait, and we wait.
The trauma, man. I can still feel it. There are times I can't still talk about that show because it's so traumatic
It's
to
so
me.
fucking sad, man.
I ended up selling my Bangalore tickets. I had tickets to come to Bangalore from Delhi. I had tickets to the show, and for some very odd, silly reason, I sold it off, and I never got to watch Metallica in India. And I
still
kick
pissed.
myself.
I'm like so supremely pissed off about it. Luckily, I ended up watching Metallica later, but it still wasn't the same, man.
It's still on my bucket list. So,
Dude, unlike both of you, I was terribly broke at that time. And while I was kicking myself for missing something like Metallica in India, because I mean, after Maiden in India, I think Metallica was like the biggest thing to happen, and especially for all of us who've been listening to
Completely.
cover bands play their music, you finally see them in the flesh. So yeah, I'm following it all on social media. This is like the early days of Twitter before it got infested by. I'm not
Let's
going to
not
go
get
in there. But yeah, dude. And then just to like know, and then I had a friend who was on the way from Bombay to Bangalore, and I was messaging him that, dude, the gig got canned in Delhi. I don't know what's going to happen in Bangalore. And I think the one word he said to me like showed his real emotion. He said, fuck.
Dude, till that time, the only Metallica live I had seen was Scepter. And that's saying something, right? So, yeah.
I mean,
It was a huge bummer, and especially because, fuck it. Anyways.
I think that
Yeah.
I
you can
cried.
go.
I saw people crying real fucking tears at that Gurgaon
come-
non-gig.
Yeah.
Man, it's trauma, man. It's
Like
absolute trauma.
how much more can you cheer yourself up by eating food and stuff, man?
Cheap
It-
Delhi
it-
Chinese didn't cut it that
it-
night.
Exactly, it just didn't cut it that night. Yeah.
But
Ah.
on that note, let's just take things back to verses, man.
Sure. All right. Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets. What can you say about them that hasn't already been said? So let me just preface this, quickly introduce like whoever has not heard of these albums. And if you haven't heard of these albums, then sorry, you're listening to the wrong podcast.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing in life? Ride the Lightning, second studio album, released July 27, 1994. That means it's 35 years old now.
Damn.
Wow. Released on Megaforce Records. Album was recorded in just 3 weeks in Copenhagen, Denmark. The title is taken from a passage in Stephen King's novel The Stand. Whose suggestion was it? The title?
Lars.
Guess.
I'm
Between the four members.
Lars.
Kirk Hammett.
What?
Yeah,
I would
Kirk Hammett
think it's
suggested
Cliff.
Ride the Lightning. Kirk Hammett suggested Ride the Lightning.
Nice.
Yeah. Obviously, Cliff Burton coming into the band really changed the game for Metallica. This album started showing the new Metallica, like they're moving away from rock and roll as such, from Kill 'Em All, bringing in music theory, etc., setting up good, intricate songs. All of that sort is happening. Lot of different stuff, etc., happening on that album. Great stuff, actually. Anyways, it features 8 songs, lasts around 47 minutes, 25 seconds. Master of Puppets is the immediate next release, third studio album released March 3rd, 1986. So that makes it 33 years old now. It's released on Elektra, which is a bigger label. Recorded at the same fucking studios. Recorded still at Sweet Silence Studios in Copenhagen, Denmark. But this time, they didn't record for 3 weeks, they recorded for 2 months. So that shows increased budget, increased pressure. Master of Puppets, I don't know from where the album title comes from. I know the artwork, etc., is legendary both on this thing. Hammett recalls that this group, this is a quote, I'm quoting from him, because he says that at that time it was just making another album and they had no idea that the record would have such a range of influence that it went on to have today. And he also said that the group was definitely peaking at the time and that the album had the sound of a band really gelling and really learning how to work well together. Now, Verses. The premise of Verses is we pit albums which have some sort of connection between each other, right? Both of these albums are considered to be the best works of Metallica have ever put out. It's also very interesting that both these albums clock in at 8 songs. Master of Puppets, of course, it lasts a bit longer. It's at 54 minutes compared to Ride the Lightning's 47 minutes. Structurally, the albums seem like the same format. right? The first, almost through the album, except for the last two songs, it follows the same pattern. So yeah, let's do this. Let's see which one.
Which was the
Alright.
first? Which of these albums you heard first? Ride the Lightning or Master of
Ride the
Puppets?
Lightning.
Same.
I heard Master of Puppets first because of the title track. I mean, that was one of the first Metallica tracks that I ever heard, and that got me hooked. It took me quite a while to get to Ride the Lightning, actually, and I thought it was quite different from the Metallica that I had heard, Black Album and then Master of Puppets. But then I think Ride the Lightning was the album that got me stuck to Metallica for life. So
Yeah.
it's both these albums have like a really special place for me, and this is going to be extremely interesting because it's like choosing between two of your babies. Like how do
Yeah,
you choose?
exactly.
So for me, of course, I think most people our age would have heard of Metallica thanks to Mission Impossible and the.
I
Dude,
Despair.
for me it was WCW. Again, wrestling, because Sting had Seek and Destroy as his theme.
But for me, so I'd heard I Disappear, and then I still remember we've discussed about Planet M and how great a role it played for us. But I still remember going to Planet M, and because everyone had talked about Metallica, so I was like, okay, let me see which Metallica album. And I had some money, so I was like, okay, I can buy. But again, it was limited amount of money, and they had Ride the Lightning because it was cheaper, and it had this really horrible jewel case which broke like as soon as I opened the shrink wrap. But I still remember listening to Ride the Lightning for I don't know how many days, dude. Because I was listening to it on my Discman, and after that, when I heard Master of Puppets, boy, dude, I was like, is this the same band that put out I Disappear?
I know, right? I mean, like even with Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, it's the same band, but it's just mildly different, and you can feel that once you listen to both the albums. It's kind of great, the difference.
Okay, so we've set the feel. Let's get on to it. First song, you have Fight Fire with Fire from Ride the Lightning versus Battery from Master of Puppets. Peter, take it away.
Battery, man.
Why Battery?
Dude, like, as much as I love Fight Fire with Fire, because I still remember, like I said, buying the CD, putting it in, putting my headphones on, and then, I mean, the moment I say the song can hear those opening riffs, right? And I was like, whoa. But then the moment you listen to Battery, dude, it's just like, these guys are now on like some steroids or something like this. There's something completely else. And considering they just recorded these albums back to back, you're just wondering where the whole thing. I mean, of course, Cliff came in, but then on this band, I mean, on Master of Puppets, they're on some different level. And
Okay.
I there's like something which I can't, like something intangible that I can't even explain. That feeling that when you listen to it, and for somebody, of course, when you listen to Metallica in your formative years like this, you had, I mean, again, I keep bringing this up, but growing up in like a conservative Catholic family, you see all those crosses and stuff like that on the cover, and you're like, whoa, okay, like this is definitely something like I have to listen to just because everyone in my family will be against it. But then you're like, okay, what is this all about? But yeah, dude, Battery. Opening track wise, it just does it for me, man.
Nishta?
I kind of agree. It's got to be Battery too. Fight Fire with Fire it's a great song. I love it. But Battery, that deceptive opening riff and then like getting really, really crazy. It's almost like a slap on your face. And I was just like, whoa, okay, now that's how you do an opening track. And I absolutely, I'll go with Battery.
So here's the thing, the deceptive opening, it's there in Fight Fire with Fire too, right? It builds up to the same pace almost as Battery does. Template wise, yes, Battery is a shorter song, Fight Fire is longer, it's more old school Metallica.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I agree with both of you, Battery is just the more powerful song.
It's absolutely the clear winner.
There's
I'm just wondering, because of course I brought the context. I'm just wondering if I heard Master of Puppets first, whether I would really be interested in
Ride the Lightning?
Ride the Lightning. That's the thing. Like, how long it would have taken me, because that just for me opens up like far more extreme metal, and like you want to go darker after that, right? You don't want to go into like lighter stuff, and we've talked about just
Anyways, so clear unanimous decision for the first track. Battery wins over Fight Fire with Fire. Moving into number 2, Ride the Lightning versus Master of Puppets, both songs which have been used as the album titles, right? Both the second song, both follow lovely opening and intros. Both songs cannot be listened to without listening to the intro songs. Like you automatically have to listen to 1 and 2 together. Nishta, you want to take this one?
Oh yeah. For me, I would be very surprised if you guys didn't go with Master of Puppets because holy shit, that track is synonymous with Metallica. Anybody
Yeah.
who knows and loves Metallica. But I think Ride the Lightning also is a slightly more underrated track that way. And as far as title
Yeah.
tracks go, I mean, it gets buried under the pressure of Master of Puppets. Honestly, it doesn't get its due too much, but. I mean, Master of Puppets is Master of
I
Puppets.
completely agree with you. Has to be Master of Puppets. I'm just, I mean, Ride the Lightning is just an underrated track. It's one of their
It's
deep
very
cuts
underrated,
when it
yep.
shouldn't be one of their deep cuts.
Dude, I'm just gonna throw it there since you've seen Metallica live. That feeling when you hear James screaming out, Master. Go on, I mean, like that is like fucking.
I'm
iconic.
getting goosebumps just
Yeah, dude,
thinking
that's
about
fucking
it.
Iconic Metallica, man. I mean, unfortunately, see, that's the thing. That's the thing I love about verses is once you like compare track to track, as much as you want to listen to Ride the Lightning, the moment you reach that part, I mean, live, dude, I would lose my shit. I would lose my shit right now if I watched them also, dude.
Master of Puppets live was, it was a highlight, definitely. Because you have the whole crowd just singing along to each and everything. And nowadays they do all of that and stuff that just adds to it. So, okay, cool. Clear winners. I think we're getting into a good pace here. So, let's bring up tracks number 3. For Whom the Bell Tolls versus The Thing That Should Not Be. This one will be weird. Chalo, I'll take this one first. For me, it's For Whom the Bell Tolls, and I think that's wholly to do with that bass intro.
Dude,
That bass intro, one of the most iconic fucking things Cliff Burton has ever laid down. I bought a whammy pedal. I bought a wah pedal only to try and play that bass intro. Yeah.
Have you ever covered Metallica?
I've always never officially. Obviously, like whenever you get into a new band, one of the first couple of tracks that you try and do is you try and do a Metallica song because everybody's heard Metallica songs and everybody knows how to play Seek and Destroy or Master or For Whom the Bell Tolls, etc. So naturally, you end up jamming with people on those kind of tracks and.
Dude,
Yeah.
and for me, this song is kind of like a prelude to how like dark they're gonna get, and it like that whole vibe. And one of the things is about listening to music on headphones. It's like you're completely canceling out everything.
Yeah.
It's you, and the moment you close your eyes, you're just like in a complete different space. And that's what this song did to me, man. Because if it's not obvious already, of course I'm on the side of the Bell Tolls, man. Because it was like eerie. It gives you like that, makes the hair of the back stand. And
I think the album version doesn't do the song justice. Like now when they play it out live and even like future recordings, all the live recordings, the song just sounds so much more meatier. The remastered version of Ride the Lightning has a much better production quality to it because like the original version was far too thin in my opinion.
Dude, I still remember.
It was.
And
Yeah.
that was actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I still remember that was one of the things I felt when I heard Master of Puppets and then I heard the other thing. I was like, what was this band like? I mean, I hate to say it, but like they were on budget recordings or what was going on? And now when I was
It's clear,
listening,
right? Yeah, it's clear the difference in
and now when I was listening to the
record labels, the
remastered one,
difference in money, etc. Okay, wait 1 second. We still have to hear your opinion.
I too think For Whom the Bell Tolls is a winner for me because my reasons are slightly different than yours. I think the lyrics got me first. More than anything else, the opening baseline, hell yes. But the lyrics, I mean, like growing up as a teenager and stuff like that resonated with me far too much than The Thing That Should Not Be. I think I've come to appreciate The Thing That Should Not Be a lot more as I've grown older. But For Whom the Bell Tolls is like quite defining of my
It is.
growing
I
up
think
years.
it's such an anthemic song. The lyrics get embedded in you. I mean, and overall, it's much more. It's it's more of an arena metal song than the thing that should not be here. So it doesn't really surprise me that it's like for most people they would pick For Whom the Bell Tolls too.
It also brought out a side of Metallica that I later on realized it's how influenced by literature these guys have always been.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, that Ride the Lightning was quite like, look at me, I read books, all of it.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was the kind of stuff that Lars kind of influenced James with, all like this occult and stuff like that. I don't know.
I've always associated the occult in Metallica with Hammett actually, because he like is a horror fan.
Hammett was.
But that was like, I'm repeating myself, man. You just get a glimpse as to where they go down the road with their music and stuff like that.
Iconic. Like this is an iconic song.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So 3 tracks in, first victory for Ride the Lightning on this one. Yay. This one is going to be a doozy, because this one is actually worthy of like proper intense debate on its own. I think we can do an entire episode on this.
So let's take quick takes first.
So let me introduce it. It's Fade to Black versus Welcome Home Sanitarium.
Oh my God, this is the part I've been dreading.
Quick take, Peter.
Sanitarium, dude.
Nishta.
Can I have like? Can I
Just
put
pick
a
one.
Okay, Sanitarium.
Fuck. Fade to Black for me.
Wait, I'll tell you where I am coming from in this track. So the thing is, right, like I said in earlier episodes, one of the gateway bands for metal for me was Limp Bizkit. And
oh my God, I know you're going with this. Oh my God.
Yeah. MTV icons.
Yeah, and so, you know,
that was honestly a good cover.
No, but see,
it was a good cover.
Yeah.
I agree.
For
Much better than Avril Lavigne trying to do Fuel.
Thank you for saying it. Thank you.
Sum 41 did a terrific job on that show.
So that was the thing for me. Like the moment they did that MTV Icons thing, it was like, hey, what is this song? And for me, that when Limp Bizkit did Sanitary, it was like, wait, I have to figure what this song is. And while we can like really have a different debate as to what the Limp Bizkit version was like, it was an introduction to like this version, and I was like, oh boy. And I remember listening to this song, and it's fucking dark, dude. Like listening to it, it just put me in a complete different space.
It is.
And yeah, man, for that reason, I mean, of course, like we could debate only on these 2 songs an entire episode.
Yeah, you should do another episode with just that. For me, again, lyrically, I think you can see the slightly unpolished raw bits of Metallica and Fade to Black, and then the complete charged up vocals in Sanitarium, and it feels like a more finished product to me. I love Fade to Black, don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously, this has absolutely been the debate, and I can't really choose, but I think Sanitarium, being a slightly better finished product for me, gave it that slight edge.
Okay, so I'll counter that. I think that's also partly to do with how Fade to Black sounds in terms of the production versus Sanitarium production. Sanitarium sounds better.
I agree.
Oh yeah.
But which song will be remembered as Metallica's best attempt at a ballad, and I'm not talking Nothing Else Matters. It will be Fade to Black.
Oh yeah.
That one has the legacy. That one was the first ballsy move that Metallica made, right? It has more notoriety. More people have killed themselves after listening to Fade to Black than Welcome Home Sanitarium. and
that gives it the edge for you, right?
No. That I'm just okay. That's a side joke, but whatever, man. You think of let's try and talk a little bit technical about it. Both songs have very similar chord arrangements. Okay, in terms of the intro, the plucking starts in the similar way. It's just that Fade to Black manages to do it far more eloquently than Welcome Home does. Welcome Home to me, Sanitarium to me, seems like a truncated version of Fade to Black. It seems like Metallica wanted to replicate what Fade to Black was and try and perfect that style and make it a shorter song.
And think about where it's placed in the album also.
It's the same placement on both albums. It's track number 4.
I meant where both tracks come in the album.
Yeah.
Right in the bang in the middle, dude.
Yeah, but it'll also be the ending of one side, right? Both
which
the tracks are end that particular side in the cassette days, and if you listen to it as whatever CD or on Spotify or whatever
vinyl?
streaming, exactly, yeah, it'll be the middle. So it serves to be it's a deep cut, but damn, I'm surprised. I knew you were going to pick Welcome Home. I'm surprised you didn't pick Welcome Home. Whatever.
I'm kind of rethinking my vote now, but I've got to stick with Sanitarium. But Fade to Black is all hearts for me.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So our first difference in opinions as such. So I'm going with Fade to Black. Both of you are going.
I'm surprised
with
it took that long,
Welcome
but
Home. No, I knew it was going to be that one. Like I'd be surprised if somebody picked that thing that should not be over for the bell tolls. I was honestly expecting even like Fight Fire with Fire against Battery to be a more, yeah. Anyways, okay, so track number 5, Trapped Under Ice versus Disposable Heroes. Nishta, start
Disposable
off.
Heroes for me, yeah.
Okay.
Trapped Under Ice for me.
Trapped Under Ice for me too.
But again, disagreement on this one. How come you guys don't like Disposable Heroes over Trapped Under Ice?
Better riffs on Trapped Under Ice, sticking more closely to the album that I'm listening to. Like Trapped Under Ice fits on Ride the Lightning. Disposable Heroes doesn't fit on Master of Puppets up till that point. Like because Trapped Under Ice, you've heard Fight Fire with Fire, you've heard Ride the Lightning.
That's similar.
You understand
it's quite similar, honestly.
Yeah. And that was the thing. Like I still remember listening to it, and I was like, whoa. And with the chorus and stuff like that, like for me, a lot of these songs is also, again, not from the band perspective, but from my perspective, you want to sing along to these songs,
right,
man. You want to be like,
yeah.
Like that's why I said about Master of Puppets, man. You want to like sing along with it. And that's the cool part about like for me watching all these videos that have been on from their recent tour. Just seeing the crowd lose their shit, man. And we've talked a bit about like Metallica being like enjoying themselves and having so much fun.
Yeah. Like they don't need to do anything that they do for anyone now. It's just going out and either making money or just enjoying themselves. Yeah. So. And no, but here's the thing: Trapped Under Ice is a much better live song than Disposable Heroes is, and that just that's kind of the reason why Trapped Under Ice is heard more live than Disposable Heroes. I mean, when was the last time you actually heard Disposable Heroes live?
I don't think they can do Disposable Heroes live. It'll take too much effort on their part.
Okay, yeah, but Trapped Under Ice, when they played that Antarctica show or Arctic show, I don't know, one of the two, they ended up performing it there.
For the Penguins. Right? It was great. The reception was great, I hear.
Alright, so again, a division of opinion. 2 people going with Ride the Lightning, Trapped Under Ice versus Nishta who picked Disposable Heroes. Wow. Moving into track number 6, Escape versus Leper Messiah.
Leper Messiah, man.
This was again a close one for me because I think Escape is a very, very, very underrated track. And I think Ride the Lightning comes alive because of Escape, but a lot of people don't seem to see it, honestly.
Yeah.
But because, I mean, the album kind of weighs itself down with a lot of other great banging tracks, and Escape kind of gets lost in the mix. But Leper Messiah, man, what an angry track, and like I could just like, James, I feel you while I was listening to it for the first time. I totally dude, I'm in love with you. I can feel everything that you're feeling right now, like that kind of stuff. So I go with Leper Messiah too.
Yeah, for me it's also Leper Messiah. I think Leper Messiah works better as like, okay, chalo, Master of Puppets is back to its point over there, whereas Escape doesn't do that. Escape, I'm with you when you say that a lot of people can't get into Escape. Yeah, same here. I just couldn't get into that song for the longest time, and even now, like, it's only because I prefer listening to the whole album in entirety that I make it a point to listen to Escape. I don't know how many times I've actually gone and selected Escape and played Escape single as a single. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I've done that. So yeah.
Do you guys think? Leper Messiah would have been a better opening for the second side than Disposable Heroes somewhere?
Good question. Yes, I do. It's a far better. It's a punchier song.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a far punchier song.
And then this is coming back to all the discussions we have of such. It's like sequencing plays such an important role
Yeah, it
in
does.
there. And then, like, of course, now 30 years or 35 years later, when we're discussing it, it's quite
We are
interesting.
3 decades too late to give that suggestion to Metallica, but like, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Track number 7. We'll first do it clean. Okay. We'll first do an absolute clean match because I do want to put a spanner in the works later on in this.
Ooh.
But we'll first do it clean. Track number 7. Creeping Death versus Orion. I'll go off first. Orion. When you're comparing it to Creeping Death, Orion. Sorry.
Creeping Death for you.
Creeping Death for you.
Creeping Death for me also, but yeah, like I think it's kind of unfair to pit an instrumental against against that die. No man, it's an unfair contest because Orion any day would have won pitted against any other track on Ride the
Okay.
Lightning for me, but not Creeping Death. Not Creeping Death.
Not Creeping Death?
I mean, it can't win against Creeping Death in my books. It's just an unfair. I mean, it's almost like Metallica knew. You know what? You're gonna look at the sequencing of both albums. Yeah, here's the twist in
Here's
the tail.
twist in the tail.
Here, take an instrumental. Have fun with this.
No,
So-
but like for me, Creeping Death is the same thing, dude. Like, this is another track. Like, I would lose my shit to when they play live, just like screaming along with them. Like at this point, you know, in your teenage mind, you were like trying to imagine, like in my whatever fantasy band, like that's what you want, and you want to see like people screaming along to you. And this is the kind of music, man. This is the kind of music that kind of gets you really pumped up. And that's one of the things about this album is that while there are certain tracks like this, when you go through it, you're just like, okay, this doesn't fit in. Just like when you think about Escape, and then right when you think, okay, Escape, what's going on? They come in with Creeping Death, and again, yeah, man.
I'll tell you why I think it's a kind of unfair comparison again is because Orion is an instrumental and Creeping Death is James Hetfield as a frontman all out, all completely out. That track is one of the most defining tracks of what makes James Hetfield the power figure, his power stance when he's getting people to scream die, die, die while he's playing along. That shit is just like iconic.
I think Orion wins for me only because I love playing that song a lot more than I do Creeping Death. Creeping Death for me is like when I play Creeping Death, half the time I'm not even paying attention to what I'm playing because it's pretty, yeah, it's utna baja liya hai abhi usko. And
It's a straight song.
Yeah, it's a very straight song, and yeah, but Orion is like fucking challenging, man.
And then Orion, I mean, we're forgetting how fucking amazing Cliff Burton was
Oh, yeah.
on
Yeah,
Orion.
it still took me like a lot of listens to understand that wasn't a guitar solo.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
The first time you heard it, holy shit, how is that even possible on bass?
I'd heard one of them was a bass solo, and it took me about 15 attempts of replaying that song
Exactly,
back to figure
yeah.
out which one
is
was
the bass
bass
solo, right? Yeah. Okay, so cool. So I'm siding with Orion on that. You guys are with Creeping Death. Cool.
This broke my
Right.
heart a little more than the Fade to Black one,
Yeah?
honestly. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's get into the last songs. Ride the Lightning ends with The Call of Tulu. Master of Puppets ends with Damage Incorporated. Nishta.
I'd like to go last on this one. Please.
Okay, Peter.
Damage, dude.
What the fuck?
Tulu.
Seriously?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Tulu. How? I want to understand what makes Damage Inc. a better song than Tulu
Tulu,
for
come
you.
on. Seriously, Peter.
Wait, hang on.
Give us one reason. You secretly love slow wah openings, no?
Closings.
You have a Kirk Hammett poster in your room that you look at every night.
So I'm in the minority here.
So okay, but why? Just make your case. I know I'm putting you in the spot, but just make your case, man. I really want to understand this. Just one statement.
Not cornering you, dude.
Yeah, we're not boring you.
Just
No,
want
I'm
to
not.
know.
I just
You're
want
just
to understand
curious.
because I've never heard anybody pick Damage Incorporated over any Metallica song.
I'll tell you mine. I think that was the first Metallica track that I really heard. I went to a guitar class for a month or so, did like a small crash course.
Huh.
And there was this guy in the class I walked in a little early and he was playing the opening opening to Tulu. And I was like, what is this? I want to know what this is. And then he told me, like, this is this band called Metallica. I'm like, yeah, I've heard of it in passing. Okay. And I went home, I heard it, and I'm like, I went back the next day. I'm like, you teach me this. I want to know how to play this. I really want to know how to play this. And then I spent like 2 months of having just picked up the guitar, trying to learn it. So sentimentality over everything else. I think you'll probably like it for its technicality and how complex it is and how beautifully structured it is. Yeah. But for me, it's pure sentimental reasons, because if I had not heard Tulu that day, I wouldn't be a Metallica fan ever. So that's it seals.
It's interesting you brought up guitar while talking about Tulu, and I'll bring up guitar because of Damage Incorporated. The first song I ever tried to play when my neighbor got his Zoom RP80 was Damage Incorporated ka opening, because that was one of the easiest things you could pull off after getting a processor. It's the same, and it just sounds so whatever. But Call of Tulu, holy shit, man! What a technical masterpiece that song is. And then, like, after getting into like trying to learn how to play guitar and stuff, you realize that Hangar 18 starts off in the similar chord progression and stuff, and then you realize, holy shit! Then you begin questioning yourself: was like Hangar 18 a Mustaine trying to do like, I can play these riffs better, I can play these chords better, etc. And whatever, like. Call of Tulu wins over Damage Incorporated. I'm still waiting to hear why you would pick the Damage Incorporated.
You just picked it. I mean,
yeah, you just picked it. I mean,
I like
do you have a problem with instrumentals? I mean, what is it?
Probably.
Oh my God! Are you? Oh.
All right, cool. All right. So on that note, we are through with all 8 tracks. Now, this is where I'm putting a spanner in the works. I want to pit. Flipping the last 2 tracks around. Okay. First up, Creeping Death versus Damage Incorporated. And of course, the reason is because you have the Call of Tulu on one side and you have Orion on the other side, which we'll get into at the end. But first, Creeping Death versus Damage Incorporated. Peter, your opinion matters more.
Yeah.
Creeping Death, dude. I think Creeping Death. No.
Okay, cool.
It's easy, Creeping Death. I mean,
yeah, it's easy for me too. Like over here, I'll definitely go with Creeping Death. Fine, easy stuff done. Orion versus Call of Tulu.
Call of Tulu, man, come on. Just look at that.
What? Peter, come on. At this point, I just think Peter's fucking with us. Right?
Yeah.
It's just for no reason at all.
Yeah, for no reason at all. Okay, fine. So you would, okay, whatever. Okay, cool. So you're picking Call of Tulu over Orion.
Wait, don't tell me you both are. Wait, I see where this is going.
No, we're not ganging up on you. And
no, I see where this is going.
Okay, cool. Nishta, what about you? Call of Tulu versus Orion.
I'm going to have to go with Tulu too.
I'm going with Orion.
Oh wow! You just pulled a Peter. You just pulled a Peter, dude.
I did pull a Peter. Orion is okay. So Call of Tulu is a fucking amazing song. I love the fact that they included it on S&M. For the longest time, I think the band couldn't play Orion because of what happened to Cliff, right? But now they're finally getting their groove back. Finally, Orion is being heard. Orion, okay, so Call of Tulu is kind of a geometric structural thing, right?
It's beautiful.
It's beautifully constructed. I totally agree with you, and I love what Cliff is doing on that song too. I couldn't tell for the longest time. I couldn't tell that wah effect that's going on in the background. It's not a guitar. It's Cliff playing, but he just takes that song and he takes that structure and he takes whatever. I mean, it's the pinnacle of his bass playing for me.
You think Cliff peaked with Orion?
Yeah, like even okay. He would. I don't think he peaked with it, but I think that's his. I think Orion was his baby. I think Call of Tulu was still. It's still more old school Metallica. It's still more NWO, BHM Metallica. But Orion was when Metallica said, okay, we don't need to be restricted to our roots anymore. We'll just go out there and make really artsy music. And then after that, to follow it up with And Justice for All and the kind of songwriting that's displayed on And Justice for All, it makes sense after having listened to Orion. You wouldn't expect that coming after Call of Tulu.
You know what I just did? I did a quick tally and I knew why you flipped it around.
No, it's not. Wait, we'll get into that. No.
Ooh.
It wasn't to do with any point system or anything of that sort. I truly wanted to pit one instrumental against the other instrumental because that's the only discrepancy of sorts between the two albums' track listings.
But now what do we have, Animesh?
Okay, so we're still getting into it. We still have two things left, which is album artwork, and we'll start off with that first. Okay, album artwork. Make a point.
Master
between the
of
two.
Puppets.
Master
Easy.
Puppets.
Easy.
Yeah, Master of Puppets for me.
Ride
too.
the Lightning is too basic. It was too basic, but then it went along with this sound. But I thought it was just like a very basic artwork. I think Master of Puppets. I spent hours staring at the poster, just trying to figure out the intricacies in it. I had a huge poster of it in my
I
house.
still do. That's the dominant poster in my bedroom. Still, Master of Puppets. I'm still waiting to find a good enough T-shirt for it. I don't like it on a T-shirt artwork though.
There was
It's not
prefer-
intricate enough
Yeah,
on a
it's not-
T-shirt. The
yeah,
print
yeah,
doesn't do it
yeah.
any justice.
Yeah, I think that's the reason.
But I still remember because I'm coming back to buying the CD. I just remember buying the CD and while the jewel case was flimsy, there were no lyrics in the booklet, dude. So I don't know which company was printing it. And I think that's why it was like 400 something rupees. But I was so disappointed. I was like, fuck, I spent all this money and there's like 2 white sheets just like looking at me. But yeah, man, when you look at Master of Puppets, and I think Metal Hammer was the one that did the 25 anniversary. They got all the bands to cover it and stuff like
Yeah?
that. Yeah, they did a cover mount CD, and that was pretty cool also.
I remember Invisible Oranges, Cosmo, one of his last things that he did when he was at Invisible Oranges. He did this whole deep analysis of each and every track from Metallica's first 4 albums. And yeah, like just I don't remember his exact words, but I remember being bowled over by what he wrote about the album artwork and how significant it was for Master of Puppets to have that artwork. And yeah, Ride the Lightning just doesn't compare to it. It's iconic. It truly is.
You can see the progression of the first, second, and third albums in their artwork as well.
I mean, come on, the first Kill 'Em All was supposed to be, it was almost supposed to be just a replication of Metal Up Your Ass, but yeah. Thank God they decided to change the name. And the whatever.
I would have taken it either way.
All right, so album artwork, clear winner, Master of Puppets. That leaves us with the final point of discussion between the two: overall album legacy or overall album feel. Nishta, start off. Overall, as an album, Master of Puppets or Ride the Lightning?
As an album, I think Master of Puppets is most complete. I don't want to put it down to better budget and a better increased production value, but it feels like a more complete album, an album that flows more easily than Ride the Lightning. Even though Ride the Lightning for me, if you can learn to love Ride the Lightning, you are a true Metallica fan for me. But Master of Puppets has more mass appeal. It's more popular. It's a more complete album, which is why it's so popular.
Peter?
Master of Puppets, man. I mean, for me, when I was introduced to Metallica and then Ride the Lightning and then you get into Master of Puppets, I'm still wondering that if I heard Master of Puppets first, whether I would get into like more extreme metal earlier or like death black metal, because there was a lot of stuff which was like really creeps you out. And I mean, the very fact that we're discussing both these albums so many years later just talks a lot about it and how personal it means to all of us. Because for us growing up and listening to metal in India, there were very few bands that was your reference point. I mean, like, Animesh, you want to add something about growing up and listening to Metallica?
Okay, so growing up and listening to Metallica, that's a separate conversation altogether. I'm gonna put out a fact here first. And this is again, this is a fact, it actually happened. Master of Puppets has been deemed culturally, historically or aesthetically significant enough for preservation in the National Recording Registry by the United States Library of Congress in 2015, making it the first metal recording to do so.
That's amazing.
Right? Which means overall everybody would, or a majority of people will think Master of Puppets is the better album. For me, it's actually Ride the Lightning. And why I say that is not to be the contrarian here, Don't get me wrong. I love Master of Puppets. It's just maybe it boils down to having listened to Ride the Lightning first and then coming to Master of Puppets. It immediately leaves you with that sense of, holy shit, they took that same formula on Ride the Lightning and they made it better. But having heard Ride the Lightning first, you're like, dude, this is like, if Master of Puppets can do it better, it's fine. But the gem of the idea is in Ride the Lightning. And that album for me flows much better than Master of Puppets does. Master of Puppets seems like a rehash only of the structure, but of course a much better rehash in terms of songwriting, maybe, in terms of production, definitely. Stronger album, maybe, as you guys have already argued over here. But yeah, I think for me it has to be Ride the Lightning, because if there was no Ride the Lightning, there wouldn't be a Master of Puppets.
That's true.
I don't think we can add any more to that, because you made quite a case for Ride the Lightning.
Wow. So that has been Ride the Lightning versus Master of Puppets. I've been wanting to talk about this thing for a long time.
Yeah, dude. And it took us so long to kind of...
So do you want to know the results?
Yes. I kind of have an illusion because I was keeping track, but go ahead.
Okay. So what I've done is I've awarded 1 point to every yes.
All right.
Okay. That's about it. Ride the Lightning totals up to 17 points. Master of Puppets, to no surprise, totals up to 20. There's a 3-point difference in them. That's it. 3 points. So that's a very, very, very fucking close line.
That's honestly closer than I was expecting it to be, honestly. Yeah.
I think this is far closer than the time we did Maiden, right?
No, Maiden was surprisingly very close to Maiden. I was very surprised with the result, because I wasn't expecting Power Slave to rank as close to Seventh Son as it did. But wow, this just goes to show that Metallica created, I don't know, just artistic perfection almost with both these two albums.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember reading about like metal sales and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure both these albums sell far more than any of the new releases that come out on a weekly basis or even monthly basis, man. Because this is like a band like Metallica is an introductory band for everyone.
Yeah, it is. And if you haven't heard these two albums by Metallica, then trust me, you guys are missing out. I mean, yeah, this is literally Metal 101.
Just the fact that we spent like almost an hour discussing this album is testament enough, man.
I think they're the perfect second and third album for any.
It's a perfect album. Like I can die a happy death if I can even remotely like achieve like maybe 10% of Orion. See, that's weird, right? Even though I pick Ride the Lightning as the better album, and that to me is the better Metallica song.
It's crazy. I mean, your favorites. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's absolutely exhausting. Your favorites. I mean, you can choose one entire album. I mean, it's the same case for me. I chose Master of Puppets, but then Tulu is the track.
Yeah,
for
the
me.
track for you. Okay, so let's sum it up now. Favorite Metallica album, and this doesn't have anything to do with verses.
God, I'm gonna be judged so hard for this.
No, that's okay. Come on.
Black Album, first album I ever heard, apart from Tulu, and like it's got mass appeal. So,
what about you?
Saint Anger.
What? No, come on.
I'm joking. Come
dude,
on.
after what you pulled like 5 minutes ago, I wouldn't be surprised.
Come on, dude.
I've been wanting to talk to Peter about actually doing a Saint Anger this thing, because I truly think Saint Anger is a good album.
I do too.
Genuinely think it is a good album.
I think it would get a better, not such a bad rap and better review if it weren't a Metallica album.
Holy shit! Yes, totally yes. If it wasn't labeled under
it'd be
Metallica,
like, oh, what a classic.
I think we found our guest for that album already.
Definitely. Yeah,
I'm gonna get my house pelted after that episode.
But fuck, man, this is like how you said. It's like listening to these guys, and again, this is the time where you just had one CD and you could only afford that much. You kept repeating listening to it for nostalgia's sake. Ride the Lightning, dude, because that CD is still there in my collection, and I still remember the joy that I had when I bought that CD, and I was like, fuck yes, I have a Metallica CD now. I'll probably go back home and listen to it also now and just play it just to be like, yeah. But yeah, man, Ride the Lightning. Just for that nostalgia's sake, because it takes me back to being 16-year-old, taking 400 rupees, walking to Planet M and saying, yeah.
My
that's it.
nostalgia with Black Album's associated with the fact that I borrowed my friend's CD and I never returned it back because I loved the album so much. I'm like, huh, what? You actually lent me a CD? No way, dude, you
I'm
didn't.
pretty sure if they listen to this episode, they're like, Ishta.
I'll just buy a new one for
New
them
one for
because
them.
that changed my life, man. I'll buy it for him. Doesn't matter.
5 years back, my answer to that question would be "And Justice for All," but now it's changed and it's Ride the Lightning for me. Yeah.
Wow.
It used to be "And Justice for All" only because I spent so much of time just trying to decipher what the fuck they were on that album. Like
Anger, pure anger.
And Justice for All, half the songs were like, I don't know, they just went into this completely different territory on that album. I wasn't expecting them to do something like that. But yeah, and I hate the fact that they fucking never added bass to it. I truly hate the fact. And
as a bassist, I really wanted
this
to
this really let me down. Like, this is me venting because James recently did an interview in which he said, "And Justice for All should never be remastered with the bass in it."
But I must add, I have another friend who's huge.
But that's
in,
another topic of discussion.
Yeah, but so the only thing I'm going to add about the bass is I have a friend who's a huge Metallica fan. He's seen them multiple times around the world and stuff. But he's also a music producer. So he got the stems, and I think you all might have seen it floating around, where he's basically taken the stems and
Added the bass back.
Added the bass
and
back.
Justice
And
for
he,
Jason.
Oh,
You can find
yes,
that. Yeah. And Justice for
that
Jason.
was him.
I don't know, probably, but he gave me a copy and he's like, this is the album that you should listen to.
That's awesome.
That's
that
that's the only one I
happened
listen to
because
on
of,
YouTube.
Yeah, and Justice for Jason. It happened because of Guitar Hero Metallica.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Yeah.
Wow, that was exhausting.
Yeah.
But so
but
much
I'm glad
fun.
we got to do this. Thanks for letting us into your house, giving us such lovely hospitality, for letting us do this in a nice, peaceful environment. Because I'm sure if you would have done it outside on the streets by now, people would have begun like, the police would have been called on just to like stop us from debating this loudly.
And I'm pretty sure, like, since we're in Bangalore, there would have been like 5 people also being like, what did he say? Wait, no, this is my sound.
Yeah.
That is if you didn't already get run over by a random cycle or some shit.
Yeah, you would have been stone pented for picking Damage Incorporated.
I'd lead the mob, honestly.
Okay,
But yeah, thanks for having me on the show, man.
Thank you for
fun.
Thank you for sparing some time out. How can people reach out to you, especially those who want to
follow
ask you
your
back for the CD, which they never got back?
That dude's on my Facebook, so you can just slide into my
cool.
DMs. Apart from that,
do you want to put out your social media? If you don't want to, that's fine.
Yes, I'm at the rate Rootkanal, ROOTKNAL on Instagram and Twitter. Say hi.
Yeah, and also follow her for epic rants on cricket and football.
That's an added bonus.
Okay, as always, Peter, you're
Trend Crusher.
I'm at Asmo Annie. You can reach out to us at Horns Up at Horns Up Pod. Till the next time, Horns Up.
Horns up, guys.